Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is about 10:27 here on a Friday, so I hope everyone's doing good. So yeah, lots of uh, lots of movies to always talk about, always, and there's always things to talk about that are kind of related to movies. So I've been covering lots of shows. A lot of the shows that I've been doing, I've been covering a a new batch of movies that I just recently bought, and then a few movies I saw in the theater. So yeah, very very cool. And then I've talked about did a show on kind of just some different thoughts right now with the state of movies that are coming out and all those kinds of things. But I have been really loving movie life lately. I've been buying a lot more movies this year. So I'm gonna be going up to Bull Moose again tomorrow. I ordered some albums and they finally just came in. It's kind of crazy. So I'm gonna go up there tomorrow. I'm super excited. Buy some more movies, of course, and all those kinds of things. It's a bad habit, but it's a good habit. So it's and I've been schedule wise. It's been a little bit tough. I haven't been able to do movies reviews or shows regularly, but I'm kind of back to a normal schedule. Things have been pretty busy, but I have more time now. Kind of, we're going into the fall season now, so I have more time to do it. I'm back to my kind of normal schedule. So yeah, originally I wasn't going to be able to do any videos this weekend because I was going to be kind of out of town with the shows that I was going to be doing, but the shows got canceled, unfortunately. So I have a lot of time between today and tomorrow. So anyway, I'm going to be doing a show on a movie that I had been uh, hearing hearing about for years, and I never seen it. I never got a chance to saw. It wasn't a movie that it was a movie that came out during the time of when I was exposed to a lot of these great horror exploitation movies, all the classic slasher movies. So it's been on my list and on my radar for a wicked long time. And I had even been in a few situations where I saw this movie at the shops, the different shops I go to, at Bull Moose. I just recently discovered a new Bull Moose where I got this movie in Lewiston, Maine. I was going up to Augusta. I had vacation last week, or actually the week before. It was our last vacation before school started. And I had vacation week, so I had a bunch of free time, and so I had to get some new music supplies. So I had to drive all the way up to Augusta, and that shop is awesome. It's a really great music shop. But the only thing is, I don't order things online, and so whenever I need gear, and I was kind of in desperate need of some new gear, I I usually go to a shop, but there isn't any local shop, so I have to go all the way up to Augusta. But it's a really great place. So, but while I was up there, I was like, you know what? I wonder how far Bull Moose is from here. And the closest one from that point was in, I think in Waterville, and it was about 20 minutes away. So it was funny. So I had that in my mind that I was going to probably go to Bull Moose after I went to the music shop because it's so close. So I got my shopping done. Got some new music equipment stuff that I needed, a cord, mic cord, and some sticks. And so I went to go type in the GPS, the address and the directions for Bull Moose from there. And then what popped up was that there was a Bull Moose that was a little bit further, maybe 10 minutes further, but it was in Lewiston. And I was like, oh, I didn't know there was a Bull Moose in Lewiston. So I was like, why the hell not? So I decided to go there instead. I drove down there, and it was about an hour and a half. And this location was is awesome. It's huge. It's like this. It's one of the biggest ones I've been to, and it was a really great surprise. And it was really, they had a killer selection all around, music and movies. So I bought this movie up there, and that movie is Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. This is a definitely a slasher horror exploitation movie. It's a little bit more than that, but I think it's safe to say that this movie is a slasher movie. And it's from 1981. It was put out by Severin. Yet again, Severin, pretty much you know the most prolific company right now as far as in this past year and this year itself, in itself, I've been buying a ton of movies, and so I've been buying so many Severin titles, and most of the movies that I have in my collection when it comes to horror and exploitation movies, or horror exploitation movies, slasher movies, or what have you, they're all Severin titles, and they just like knock it out of the park. I've gotten so many killer movies, and this movie is so worth the wait. This movie is absolutely incredible. It's so well done. It came out in 1981. It's got one of the greatest opening sequences I've seen in recent times, and it's a slasher movie. It's essentially about this kid. It's about this kind of odd family dynamic. Basically, it's about this high school kid, or this kid who his parents die really tragically in this car accident, and then the film fast forwards to about 10 years or so later, where he is being raised now by his aunt, and he's going to high school, and he's going through the whole adolescent thing, and he's raised by his aunt, and then this whole kind of mystery and this dark kind of secret slowly comes out, that's related to his parents die his parent both his parents dying, but then also these dark family secrets that are going on, and these dark secrets that the aunt has been carrying around her entire life. And it's bonkers. It's like legitimately crazy. The other really cool surprise about this movie is I think it's the first role that Bill Paxton, the great, late and great Bill Paxton, who died a few years back, and he was really young, but he was such a great character actor. I love Bill Paxton. So many great movies. And so he was in this movie. He's like super young. I think he's like 18 or 19. And he plays one of these high school kids who is like kind of this, jockey kind of asshole and real obnoxious to the lead character. But this movie is killer. It's really suspenseful. The kills are amazing. The writing is fantastic. It's not predictable. There's a really great kind of reveal midway through the movie, or maybe getting close to the third act, that involves the aunt and the family dynamic, and it's kind of shocking. It's great atmosphere, beautifully shot, beautifully directed. And again, this was a movie I had heard about for so long. Really great cast. It was directed by William Asher. Fantastic director, fantastic direction in this movie. The cast is really good. Jimmy McNichol, Susan Tyrrell, Bill Paxton, Bo Sevenson, Julia Duffy, and Marcia Lewis. But really, man, just such an awesome movie, and I kind of kicked myself for not buying this movie sooner, because it's really good. It's one of the better slasher movies I've seen in a long time. I'd almost feel comfortable with saying that this movie is now like, you know, definitely on my top tier lists of slasher movies, because slasher movies again are my favorite kind of subgenre of the world of exploitation. You know, that's the thing I love about the exploitation world is you can there's so much there's so much variety. You know, you have yeah, and you have all these like subgenres. Before, I mean, now the time we live in now, everything is like kind of curated and has this like is marketed to like a specific kind of demographic or everything that we have now in our world that we love or that we gravitate towards is like monitored by when it comes to social media algorithms. So it's very weird, but it makes sense, but it is very weird and impersonal. So when the robots eventually take over, it's you know I feel like it will just be another day and we won't even realize it because it's just it's it's been this gradual shift anyway. So there's not it's not going to be abrupt. So, but anyway, with these algorithms, everything is kind of based on that. So there's all these like things are catered to like a genre specific, and then there's all of these subgenres underneath that, and it makes sense. But I think it's a little bit ridiculous, but it actually is a thing. I see it a lot with music, and I obviously see it a lot with movies. When you say you like horror films or horror movies, that can mean a lot of different things. So with the world of exploitation, you have so many different styles. You have all of the kind of the sex exploitation movies. You have the non exploitation movies. You have all the amazing giallo films. There's you have films that are more psychosexual or very surreal and strange. You have westerns. You have war movies. You have slasher movies. You have supernatural based films, crime movies. I mean, there's so many of these like subgenres, and so after I watched Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, I was totally sold on it. I was like, "Yep, this movie has just been put on my informal list of favorite slasher movies." I did a show or actually this year, on my favorite, horror exploitation movies, and I don't know, it was probably about 30 movies or so. That show is actually, out of all of the videos and clips I've put up, I think that might be my favorite show. I just think it's great. I think I got I got some coverage on some films I feel like for fans of the genre that need to be talked about or need to be checked out. And this movie, Butcher Breaker Nightmare Maker, I felt like after I watched it, I was like, yep. Whenever I do these top lists, or top tier lists, or top 10 or top 20, it's really, really hard to do that, because things are always, for me, especially me, I've been like always, especially this year, I've been discovering so many new movies that I've never seen, along with movies that I grew up or I'd seen as a kid or whatnot. But the majority of new movies that I buy are all of these, first time watching experiences. And I'm a hardcore. I consider myself a hardcore, enthusiast for these movies. I love these movies to death, and it's my favorite genre. And I'm a serious collector. Like other than your average day, adulting, situation where, we got to pay for food and we got to pay for stupid taxes and just our daily existence, and just living expenses, which is it's very expensive these days. But as when I have a little savings or I have my money or spending money, I don't really spend it on anything. You know, I go out. My girlfriend and I will go out to dinners and stuff. You know, here and there. We'll get takeout. You know, or things like that. Or we'll occasionally go to the movies, go see some live music. Every now and then, I go to bigger concerts where you got to pay for big tickets. But it's pretty, it's pretty sporadic when it happens. But generally, when I have money and I have spending money that I can use to buy things that I love, it all goes to movies and music. I buy tons of music still, but I mostly buy movies. I mostly buy movies, and so that's where it's at for me. And that's where it's that's where my love is. And so this year I've been discovering so many new movies. And again, this was a movie I had heard about for a really long time. This transfer that Severin put out is amazing. The quality of these movies that Severin has been putting out is just kind of incredible. Like, just so exceptional. Beautiful packaging, beautiful artwork, really great special features. This has like 6 hours of special features on here, like, which is just nuts. I watched a bunch of this too. There's really that's the thing I love about the special. I'm When I see a movie, if I see that it has a lot of special features on it, that will usually, if it's got some pretty decent kind of reviews, and it's, when it comes to a movie I haven't seen, and if it has a lot of special features on here, that is usually my selling point, because I love finding, I discover a movie, I love finding out, kind of what made that movie happen, what it was like to make this movie, or just finding out the ins and outs of it. Um, it's such a fun way of discovering new information. The director William Asher is a uh, really great director, and I know I've seen some of his movies, but there are so many movies to his credit. He did Beach Party in 1963, Beach Blanket Bingo in 1965. I mean, these titles are just like hilarious. All these movies look fantastic. Bikini Beach in '64, Night Warning in '81, The 27th Day, Johnny Cool. All of these like super pulpy exploitation movies. I haven't seen any of his other films that I know of. So, when I go to the store again, I'll keep my eyes peeled for any of his other work. That's one thing that's been really great, is I've discovered a lot of directors, and certain films that I bought, I've just been blown away. So the next few times that I go to the shop, to Bull Moose, that will be on my radar, something else to look for. I don't usually go with a list, but they're all I watch a lot of. There's a couple of YouTube guys that I watch a lot, and they're just fantastic. So I usually Mood 616. He's a Canadian YouTube guy. I watch him, and he's just fantastic. And then there's 42nd Street Forever, which he's just amazing. And those guys just have so much knowledge, and they have just the most insane collection of movies I've ever seen. So I've learned a lot from watching their channels, and I've discovered so many cool movies. And then it's also brought me back to tons of movies that I grew up watching. So just amazing. And as a collector, there are people out there that buy movies, and they kind of, that's one thing I've come across sometimes online, is there are people out there that do, are big collectors of movies, but they kind of treat it like the movies are like paintings, or things where they buy them and they don't really watch them. They just kind of buy a shit ton of movies, and they might see them here and there, but generally they just kind of store them away, and they just kind of collect things. If there's like 10 different versions of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for instance, they'll just buy them and not necessarily watch them and just have them as this novelty thing. And the value of these movies will go up, obviously, but they look at it as more of a from a collector standpoint, like baseball cards. And I get that, and part of me is like that, but I buy them because I want to watch them. So I typically when I buy these movies, I always watch them, and I watch, I'll watch them again and again and again. I won't like watch them once and just be like, okay, put that away. That was good. On to the next one. No, I'll in my downtime, I'll revisit certain movies, and I'll have cravings for this or that, and it will be a whole new world that will open up for me. But this movie is super awesome. One of the best slasher movies I've seen in recent times. One of the best. The writing for this film, it's some of the greatest writing that I've seen in a film in a long time, and just really great characters, really great kills, really great story, just awesome. And this Severin just Severin can't do anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. They just knock shit out of the park left and right, and this is a killer movie. I can't recommend it enough. Super excited that I finally broke down and bought it. Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, 1981, classic slasher exploitation movie right here. So thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.